Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I am Shubham, a chartered accountant and a swing trader. Today we will be discussing about the general market conditions, what I am looking at, and a few good setups that I believe can perform really well in the coming few days. So before we start and move on to my screen, please do subscribe to the channel, like the video, and do share the video with your friends. Let's dive right in. So let's start with Nifty first. As we can see, we did break out of the very big base on 26th of June, but then we went into a very tight zone, and finally on Friday we saw a breakdown happening of that zone. But I still believe that we are still in an uptrend, a good uptrend, because if you look at the weekly chart, you will see that we are still pretty much above the 10-week moving average. And if you look at the past as well, the 10-week moving average has acted very strongly as a support for Nifty, and I believe that is how it will pan out even now. So, and a round figure zone would be around 25,000, 25,800 to 25,000, from where we can see a bounce. And that is the exact same case with the mid and small cap index as well. If you look at the Nifty mid small 400, which is what I track for the mid and small cap index, you will see that we did try to break out of this base over here. This was a very big base. Again, we went into a very tight zone, and instead of breaking out, we did break down. But on the mid and small cap index, we have not even breached the 20 EMA yet on the daily. In fact, on the weekly, we are still pretty much far away from the 10 weekly moving average. So I believe we are still in a strong uptrend, and we should see a bounce soon, because if we don't see a bounce soon, then there is no point in talking about all the stocks that we are going to discuss, because if the environment is bad, most of the stocks will not work. But if we do see a bounce back, these are the stocks that I am tracking at. So let's start taking a look at all the stocks that I am tracking. First and foremost is Anand Rathi. It just came out with its results of June quarter, and as you can see, the jump in EPS is very good. The sales and the operating profit margins have been very good. The highest ever volume of the year has been recorded, and it has moved out of a very long base of almost December 24 to July 25. That is more than almost 7 months now, 6-7 months base. I believe the future is very good for this stock, and every pullback could be a good place to add. The next stock is Jackson Pharma. Again, after a very good up move, the stock started basing for a while, and this one is also basing since December, so moving out of a base of 6 months long and moving out with very good volumes. We did go tight right before the breakout of the trend line and also a big base. So I am tracking this stock and will be adding on every pullback. The next is NTPC Green. This is a sector that I'm tracking overall, the power and the energy sector, especially the green energy as well. Even in fact, the wind energy sector is also looking pretty strong. Overall, the power and energy sector is looking very good. So as you can see, we started moving in a higher high, higher low format, and then we started getting very, very, very tight, and finally we started to see that volumes have started to come in, and we'll be fine, and we have finally broken out of this trend line and also this pretty long base. So again, a stock that is worth adding on every pullback with a stop loss below say 100 or 104. We'll ride as much as we can till probably the highs if possible. Let's see how far the stock goes. The next would be SBFC. It's a small finance bank, I believe. Again, it also moved out of a very, very long base. It was a new IPO only. I wouldn't call it a new IPO, but a recently listed stock. And after this huge up move, we started basing again, and finally we are out of that base and onto the new highs with very good volumes. So again, every pullback is worth adding. The next is also from a similar space, Aavas Financier. broke out of a very big base with very good volumes, but we came back in probably due to the market conditions. Again, tried a breakout, but dived right back in, and now finally we are breaking out again with pretty good volumes. So I'll be tracking this stock, but I'll wait for a good entry and a lower risk, higher reward situation to form. The next is EC Services. I am not sure how to pronounce the name, but as you can see, the stock moved with very strong volumes and a very strong up move, and then started basing and getting tight, and finally the reversal has started with good volume pop. So again, we'll look to enter the stock with a low risk scenario and hold with a stop below 3,320 probably, and ride as much as we can, probably till the highs and even more. The next is Paradigm Phosphates. Again, a very strong up move and then getting tight and basing, and finally trying to move out of the base. We'll still look for a confirmation before we enter that the breakout is actually a strong breakout and not just a fake one. So we'll wait for a confirmation and then we'll enter and then ride as much as we can following the moving averages. The hotel sector overall is looking very good. There are quite a few setups from the hotel sector. Two of them which I'll be tracking are ITC Hotels and Royal Orchid Hotels. Both ITC Hotels is an IPO and a pretty strong IPO for that. I've already traded it before from 166 levels, I believe 166. Yes, this is where I had entered initially, and I moved out when this breakdown happened around 195 200 levels, and then I never got back in actually. But again, the stock is on my radar and I'll be keeping close watch on this to find a low risk pullback entry and ride as long as the EMAs are not breached on the daily. The next, like I said, is Royal Orchid Hotels. Again, moving out of the base, although I would still wait for confirmation, but I like the volumes that are coming in right now. It went very tight right before the breakout zone, and then there was a huge volume surge. Now let's see if the stock actually moves up and follows the 10 and 20 moving averages. If it does, we'll ride, or else we'll be out. Not every stock from the list will work, obviously. So the ones which are working, we'll keep on riding with the moving averages, and then the ones which don't work will be out with a tiny loss. The next stock which I'm looking at is HEG. Again, not a very ripe setup yet, but I like how tight it is getting on the daily, and I'll wait for the breakout to happen though. Let's see if this, I believe we have already broken out. We are just sitting right at the breakout. Let's see if we see a follow through, and then we'll look for a pullback entry. The next is Penar Industries. Again, not a ripe setup yet, but if we look at this, we could soon break out over this horizontal line and the trend line as well if we do, because if you see, the stock moved up, made a new high, and then started basing, and then finally we broke out of this range, and then again we are back to the original breakout zone. And let's see if we get a follow through from these levels. Next is mCloud. Again, IPO setup which is looking very, very good. The volume profile is looking amazing, and also we are about to breach the IPO highs and the recent highs. We have already broken out of the trend line with very good volumes, so any pullback entry would be a strong level to add. Max Estate is again another strong stock. From the entire real estate space, the realty infra space is looking very good. As you can see, the very strong up move with very good volumes, and then we start to form a base with very tiny small candles with very low volumes, and then again we are out of that base with very strong volumes. So every pullback would be a good place to add. and we ride till the 20 EMA is not breached. Thyrocare is again a very good setup. As you can see, a very nice cup and handle breakout, a pullback to the zone, and follow through would be amazing. We can ride it as long as the 20 EMA is not breached. The next would be Jush. Again, a very good, strong stock, I believe, but has been basing for a long time. Uh, but finally, I believe this was a very big base that was forming since May, last 2 months, I believe, May and June, and July almost is mid. We are already at mid July, and the stock has been basing for a while, and it is forming a base inside a base and getting very tight. It is right around the breakout zone, so if we do see a breakout, I would enter over 590 with a stop below 564, 563 maybe. And again, as always, ride with the 10 and the 20. Suzlon, again, I am shocked myself that I am tracking Suzlon, but yeah, sure, because why not? This was a very strong base that you can see was formed, and then we are out of that base with pretty good volumes, and now we are retracing and pulling back to the breakout zones, and finally we are getting very tight. So if we do see a breakout, it would be worth tracking above 66, 67 with a stop below 64, a very tight 3 to 4% stop loss. Ride with 10 and the 20 EMA probably. TCI is again, as you can see, a very strong setup. We have moved out of this very long base that began in Jan, more than 6 months long now, and we are out of the base with very strong volume. So any pullback from here till this level over here, say 1200 or 1160, 1170, and would be a good place to add, and then we ride with the EMAs again. Schaeffler is again looking pretty strong. This was a very nice base that was forming over here. Let me turn off the magnet. This was a very good base, and then we moved out of the base with pretty strong volumes, and we did not even breach the 10, which shows how strong the breakout was. And now we are finally basing and out of the base as well with a good volume surge. So pullback to the 4100 level would be very good with a stop below 3900 maybe, and then we ride with the EMAs. Next is Vari Energies. Again, a love and hate relationship with this stock across traders on Twitter. It has given so many breakouts and came back in, again a breakout and then coming back in. But now I believe things are looking good, because a few shakeouts and fake breakouts is what was needed to move the weak hands out, and I believe we are all set for an uptrend. So I will look for a buy signal and trail with the 20, because I believe it has, if you look at the character of the stock, 10 has never acted as a very good support. 10 EMA has never acted as a very good support for the stock, but the 20 EMA has. It came here, it bounced back from the 20, again breached the 10 but bounced back from the 20. It did breach the 20 over here but quickly bounced back, again breached the 10 but took support at the 20. So you have to look at how the stock has acted in the past. If 10 has never acted as a good support, then don't use 10 as a support. If 20 has always acted as a good support, use 20 as a support and trail with the 20. So if I get an entry around 3050 levels, maybe just rounding off to the round figure levels, I will keep a stop below 2900 and trail with the 20, not the 10 but the 20, because that is what the stock has always respected. Next would be Taril. Again, a very strong stock, and had recently moved from, it was a 5% stock basically till a few months ago in March end. So the it was neglected by most of the stocks, most of the traders. But recently in June, it has moved from the 5% to the 10% limit, and finally we're starting to see good volumes over here. We are out of this tight range and pulling back right to the breakout zones. Could probably above 510, 511 we could enter with a breakout confirmation, and we will ride with the 10 or the 20. HSCL, many stocks from the chemical industries, the industrial specialties are looking very good. um, as you can see, we are trying to form a high tide flag over here, a very good up move, highest volume in the year, which made the pole of the flag, and then the first pullback, and now the second pullback, and now we could finally move out of this range, and then we trail with the 20 again. SGIL, like I said, a very strong up move out of this base over here. If you see, this was a good base that was forming, and then we moved out over here. As you can see the volume action over here, highest volume in a quarter, highest volume in a quarter, highest volume in a quarter, multiple highest volume in a quarter volumes, and then we pulled back to the support zones, the breakout zone over here, as you can see. And then we started moving again, and the 10 has acted as a very strong support zone, and finally a small tiny base again, and out with another HVQ bar. So if we move above this candle again, 542 would be a good zone to add with a 4% stop loss, and then we ride with the 10 or the 20. The last stock is Port King. This has also moved pretty strongly with HVQ volumes. I think this acted very well on the March quarter results, I believe. Yes, as you can see, the EPS rise was huge, and right after the move, the stock started forming a base. And see, just look at the volume action. While the stock was pulling back, the volumes were pretty low, but right at the support level, we see an upsurge in volume, and we move back up. Again, we move down to the support level with very low volumes, and right at the support level we see a volume pop up over here, and we move back up, and again we are getting tight. Now we do not even move till the support zone because the buyers are so strong, and we make a very tight zone over here, and we see volumes coming right up even before we reach the original previous support zone. So a breakout over 118 levels could be something that you can track with another 4-5% stop, and you ride with the 10 and the 20. So I hope you found the video useful. I will be sharing a lot more content on my YouTube channel, so please do subscribe to the channel and stay connected. I post regularly on Twitter as well, and also on my Telegram channel. The links will be in the description below. To get quicker updates about the trades, you can join the Telegram channel where live updates are possible, because making a YouTube video takes time. So see you on my Twitter and the Telegram. Bye. See you in the next one.